Not David, but Daniel.
Say David in the other one.
Oh, I said David so many times yesterday, it was ridiculous. I'll probably say David more here. Today will be part one of a two-part vlog in like a sub-vlog in the vlog about Christmas Eve services. Today is like Christmas Eve. It's the day before Christmas Eve, but we're doing outdoor services because we're limited how many people we can have inside the building because of COVID restrictions, so we're going to do Christmas Eve services outside. This is how cold it will be when we begin our service tonight. At 6 p.m. At least it won't be snowing. Very cold. That was super cold, but pretty awesome. Merry Christmas. See you guys. From the wards. This is awesome. My parents gave me this for Christmas. I don't have anything for my GoPro in terms of like a apparatus type thing, so this is very exciting. Not a sponsor? That'd be awesome if they were. I'm gonna switch from this to this in 3, 2. Oh, hello. This is pretty nifty, pretty handy. I know this can extend, but this will do just for now. Today is day 245, and we are covering Daniel 4, 5, and 6. Chapter 4, Nebuchadnezzar has another dream, and this time he's generous enough to tell all of the magicians and wise men in the kingdom what the dream is, but still none of them can determine its interpretation except for Daniel. Well, the dream that Nebuchadnezzar has is of this massive tree that's just huge, and a watcher from heaven comes and chops it down. And the interpretation that Daniel gives of the dream is that the tree is Nebuchadnezzar, and 7 time periods, which I believe is interpreted as 7 years, that God will essentially like cut him off from the kingdom and from the glory that is the Babylonian Empire, and Nebuchadnezzar will then be like a beast. And scripture tells us actually that his hair grows long, his like fingernails are that of like a bird's talons. After that time, though, Nebuchadnezzar realizes that God is the one who is in control, and it's because of God that he got all this awesome stuff and became the most powerful king on planet Earth. And this is the last that we see of Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, and he actually ends really well. Like, he acknowledges God's power and sovereignty and gives God the credit for all the glory that was displayed throughout the Babylonian Empire. Chapter 5 is the story of Belshazzar and the writing on the wall, of which no one could interpret except for Daniel. The writing that was on the wall essentially said that the Babylonian Empire would fall and the Persians, or the Medo-Persians, would then take over. And we see that at the very end of this chapter, that Darius, he takes over the kingdom from Belshazzar, and it calls him the Mede, but this is the beginning of the Medo-Persian Empire, the Medo-Persian rule. And the reason why God allows this is because, very much like his father, Belshazzar had this prideful disposition that he did different things because he thought he was so great in the kingdom that he had, and who else is above him? And God humbled him as a result of it. He died. He got killed. Then chapter 6 is the famous story of Daniel and the lion's den. I think it's very important that when we read these stories that we have to set the record straight. We have all kinds of animations, stories about this story, and we even have a version of Daniel the Lion's Den that was made with vegetables.
See you guys later. Thanks for the pizza.
I had pizza?
I think because of these things and how these things, even though they're kind of silly, they can kind of taint our view of these passages. We have to set the record straight and look at what does the Bible say about these stories. So yes, Darius makes a decree because the other wise men, they didn't like Daniel. And as soon as Daniel hears the decree that they have to worship the king and no other god, Daniel, he prays and he thanks God, as was his custom. Then word gets to Darius, and Darius doesn't want to throw him in a lion's den, but because the decree is irrevocable, he throws him in and says, I pray that your God saves you and delivers you. One of the things that the VeggieTales story happens to leave out of this story is after God saves Daniel from lion's den, all the other wise men and their families, including their children, are tossed into the den of lions, and it says that their bones are crushed. Just setting the record straight here, okay? And with these stories, and I guess in particular the first two, I was just really impacted by the pride that both Nebuchadnezzar and Belshazzar, and then God eventually humbled them both, that God is reminding them that he is in control and that he is the one that gave them those positions of power. And just as quickly as he brought them up, so quickly he will, and he did, bring them down. And while you and I most likely are not in those types of positions that these two men were, it is a warning that we ought to heed for ourselves to not live pridefully, trying to take credit for things that happen in our life, but rather give the credit to God and acknowledge that God, he, as quickly as he can exalt someone, that he can also bring that person down. And for us, the encouragement is to remain in that humble disposition. Once again, I know it's a really popular story, Daniel the Lion's Den. I'm sorry I'm not elaborating more on it, but I wanted to focus on that aspect of today's reading. So there you go. We'll see you tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and do all that stuff.